Hey, who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Maria.
My name's Matt.
My name's Jordan.
My name's Harry.
And welcome to the April Roundtable.
Yay!
Yeehaw!
Yay! We had a yeehaw there. We had a yeehaw.
I wasn't expecting it, but I like it.
I like it, yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. We didn't have a don't make me laugh, but we had a yeehaw. That'll do. Welcome back, everybody, to another round table. It's been a minute since the last one. We didn't do one last month. Bit busy for that one. That was on me, though. That's my fault. A little bit busy with some stuff going on. But we are back to talk about a weekend away that we all had recently. We were all in London, down in London for a Doctor Who convention, which was very cool, down at Capital Cutaway, which we're going to come on to in a second. And then I'm going to get these guys' thoughts on the first two episodes so far into season 2. See what they thought. The Robot Revolution and Lux. I was going to say Flux then, Lux. See what you guys thought to that. Before we get on to all that, though, hope you're doing well. Matt, how have you been, buddy?
Yes, very well, thank you, mate. Very, very well. Obviously had a brilliant time with you all at the Capital event, but we'll get onto that shortly. But aside from that, what Doctor Who things have I done? Oh, I have. Starting from the train ride up to London, I've been going through, is it season 20? The one that introduces Turlo, I believe it's season 20. Yeah, I'm seeing nodding heads, so I'll go with confidence. Yeah, it's definitely season 20. And because I thought, I've said on the pod before that I don't think much of Turlo, and I thought, I've only seen the 5 Doctors and maybe one other with Turlo in it. And I can't really go on and keep that in my head without giving him a fair chance, to prove otherwise. And so started off from the beginning, and I think, he's really grown on me, actually. He's miles ahead of Adric and in my ranking. Poor old Adric. But, I've just been really enjoying that. I think I'm 3 or 4 stories through. I've just got to the 5 Doctors actually. So I've done season 20, and I'm on the 5 Doctors. I just finished the 5 Doctors, so I'm intrigued to go on because I haven't watched all of Davison's run. So I'm doing like a start to finish thing. Cool. Really, really enjoying it. Nice.
Oh, the 5 Doctors. Good story.
Oh
that. Yeah, very good. Maria, how have you been?
I've been good. It's funny that Matt's talking about season 20 because I really kind of thought after coming away from Capital Cutaway, which I know we're going to talk about, I really fancied seeing a bit of Davison. So I did put on Mordrin Undead. Now, I think I would say traditionally it's never been one of my favourite stories. But it was actually really nice to sit down and watch it because I haven't seen it for quite a long time. And a lot of what Matt's saying about Turlo kind of resonates with me because I think, I don't know how old Mark Strickson was when he took the part. I think he was early 20s, 22, 23. But I think he pulls it off really well. Kind of playing that sort of public schoolboy, I'm guessing. But yeah, I actually enjoyed it, because I haven't seen it for a while, and it's obviously got Nicholas Courtney in it as well. It was actually really good to sit down and watch it. So, I'm wishing Matt all the best with watching Davison. I think he's going to enjoy the era. I really do. So keep going, Matt.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll have to let you know how it goes. But season 20 was very, very good so far. So looking forward to going on.
Pretty please write an article on it. That'd be really interesting.
Ooh, yeah, good idea. Ooh, watch this space.
Nice one, guys. Very cool. Harry, how have you been, you little bugger?
Hey up, Gary. Yeah, I'm good, man. Easter was lovely. Our weekend away was fantastic, all of us. Doctor Who has been fun, having that back on the TV. I've been reading... I picked up the Target novelisation of 73 Yards, hoping that maybe it might make the TV story make a little bit more sense. And I've been sort of balancing that and also reading Stephen King as well, which I know Matt really loves. And I've been reading more Stephen King, to be honest. I find that way more interesting. But I'll get to the end of 73 Yards soon enough. I actually, as well, I went to Waterstones, not planning to buy anything, but obviously that's a lost cause when you go into a Waterstones. I went to the Doctor Who section, and there was a copy of Doctor Who and the Daleks, which was screaming my name. I have always wanted to own the paperback copy of it. I have the hardback illustrated edition, but I've always wanted a little tiny novella just to sort of hold in my hands and read more easily than this big bulky illustrated thing. So I bought that. I'm going to read that, but I'll get through my Stephen King book first, and then I'll make time for my Target novels. First world nerd problems, obviously. What
are
nice.
you on, Harry?
Which
one are you on?
Stephen King or?
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading a book called The Outsider, which is very, very dark, very grim, but very. It's got a very intriguing premise, shall we say? Listeners, look into it in your own caution. It's very horrible, but it's but if you like horror and you like kind of crimey supernatural stuff, then it's it's really good. I take it you've read the whole thing, Matt?
Yes.
Is it a satisfying payoff?
It runs part of a... I don't want to give anything away.
Okay.
But it's part of an ongoing series of the Holly Gibney series, and it kind of interweaves through there. But yeah, definitely what Harry said. It is not for our younger listeners. It's not suitable. But for our older listeners, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's very, very good.
Indeedy. Yes. And Jordan, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah.
You've been up to anything Who related since
apart
the weekend?
from Capital, sort of watching it on the TV on a Saturday. But I think the weirdest thing was I went ghost hunting the other day, and we pulled into the car park, and I'm like, where do I recognise that field from? It was all these like greenhouses in the background. I was like, where do I know them from? And I was like, I'm going to have a look. And I was at the place where, in Revelation of the Daleks, when the Sixth Doctor and Perry arrive at Tranquil Repose, they filmed it at this. It was an air base. It's now a museum, sort of Chichester way. And I knew that it was filmed down there, but I didn't realise that it was where I was going ghost hunting. And I was like, only I could go ghost hunting and accidentally find a Doctor Who location at the same time.
Only you, Jordan. Yeah. I saw your pics on something, Instagram, I think.
It was really weird. I was like, I don't know if that's sad or impressive that I recognise that field. I think it's a bit of both, to be fair. But
no, it was cool. Yeah, I remember seeing it and thinking, yep, that would be Jordan. That'd be Jordan doing that. Oh, cool. So, some what's the word? Unintentional Who location. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice one. Very cool, guys. Let's kick off then with a bit of a recap. So you heard on the 2 monthly roundtables before last month, we were saying that we were going to Capital Cutaway, which is an event run by the Doctor Who Appreciation Society. They also do the other big event down in, I think it's been all over the place, but I think it's mainly in Crawley, near Gatwick, I believe. And Maria and Jordan are two big fans of the DWAS stuff. Those two.
They're so much fun.
Yeah, you attend those, don't you? Pretty much every year, I would say.
Yeah.
And this one came along and they were like, right, you've got to go, you lot. We won't hear a word about it. You've got to book tickets. So we were like, oh God, here we go. You know what Maria's like when she gets, when she gets going. So we were like, oh God, we better book these then. So yeah, booked them, and it turned out to be an absolutely fantastic weekend. It was really cool. So guys, what did you think? Was this the first Capital Cutaway event that they've done? Or have they done more previously?
This was the first Cutaway one.
Cutaway, yes. Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't do it the whole weekend. I think there might have been. I know the last few times there's been issues with like the hotels and things that they've been in and sort of things. I think maybe this year they were like, we'll just ease off on it. But I think they're also preparing because next year's their 50th
yes, that's right.
anniversary or something. So I think maybe they were sort of holding off to do that. And I'm glad that it's back in the hotel in Crawley, actually, because that was where it was when I first went, and it's kind of like, to me, that's its home, is that hotel. So I'm quite glad that it's going back. But I think this felt more akin to sort of a lot of their Riverside events, I think, where it was a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more chilled out. And I think the way they organised it was a little bit better, where you kind of you did all the panels, and then you had a break where you could do your photos and your autographs and things. I think it flowed a lot better this time, and it actually made you feel like you'd done everything. It was quite intense, but you kind of felt like you'd done everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a cool one day, wasn't it? It was it was like back in the day when you used to go to like some of the big Finnish events, or some of the smaller ones, like the ones in Chiswick. What they called?
Phantom.
The Phantom, yeah. So yeah, it was cool. Maria, what was your view on this then versus some of the bigger DWAS ones that you'd been to prior?
It's a different experience, because I think trying to cram a lot into one day. They kept it, I think, to a reasonable limit on the guests, because I think they had 12 guests for the day, which I think is quite substantial in terms of, running the panels, having photographs, and getting autographs and stuff like that. So I think it was definitely manageable. I did enjoy it. I must admit, I thought it was, I didn't know what to expect when they said where the venue was. Obviously, it's a Polish cultural centre, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I thought it was really well organised. It's laid out really well in terms of where things were. Obviously, I think there was loads of time given to the panels, which was quite nice. And obviously, they had new guests this year from New Who. So, that was quite nice. But yeah, in comparison, I think the 2-day event is a different beast, because on the Saturdays can be quite frenetic because it's the opening day of the convention. And there's a lot going on the Saturday, and then they have the auction in the evening. So that's a chance for people to kind of, let their hair down after all the panels have finished and autographs and stuff like that. So I think a 2-day event is definitely more relaxed. Sundays are always quite good at the convention. That's quite a relaxed affair. So I think there's more time, obviously, over the 2-day event and they kind of theme things around on the different days. So, you'll have maybe a lot of classic guests on one day, and then other classic guests on the other day, or New Who or whatever. So yeah, it's a different beast, the 2-day one. But I think they did really well with the 1-day one that they did. It was and what I loved was obviously they had everything was kind of on the one site, so you could sit down in the cafe and and that wasn't too far away. There was also a restaurant if you wanted to sit down formally and eat as well. So everything was kind of on the one site, which was fantastic. I mean, and I know obviously accommodation was literally across the road as well for people as well if they wanted it. So I thought for a 1-day event it was very well done. I mean, they would have probably had more people in terms of merchandise and things like that. Normally for the 2-day, they normally have a few more people that with the marketplace and everything. But yeah, I think it's a different experience, but it was definitely noteworthy. I thought it was really well done. So I can't say anything bad about it really.
Yeah, it was really well done actually. In terms, because I've been to some nightmare ones in the past. I've been to a few where. Yeah. I don't want to say showmasters. Some of those have been. Put it this way.
Say it. They make enough money.
Oh,
Come
is that
on.
the one in the Shell Centre, the Showmasters?
It's the ones that are in London at the Olympia too. It's, the big London Film and Comic Con and all that lot.
Film and Comic Con. Yeah, I think. My experience at those has been very variable, and it's literally thousands of people, and you're kind of rushing from one thing to the other. You're in an endless queue sometimes. In terms of space, though, those things have to fill a lot of space. So they obviously have lots of people. It's a mega event, isn't it? And I don't think you're going to get that personal interaction that you might want from a smaller convention. And the smaller conventions give you that. If you want a bit more of a personalized experience, or if you're going year after year, you're going to meet the same people there. You're going to you're going to get to know people that go to the events. You're going to get to know. The guests may be in a bit more of an intimate way, whereas Showmasters is a bit of a marketplace, and and you pay extortionate prices for those events as well. I mean, when I look at the price of autographs at those events, it's we've got a cost of living crisis, but that doesn't apply to Showmasters, does it really? They can charge as much as they want. And so, it's, I mean, you pick your battles really with these things. I mean, I've been a few times. I'm not really that keen on them anymore. I've been about 3 or 4 times, and I think I know what it is, and I wouldn't go again.
Yeah, no, I read you. Yeah, I read you. Yeah. It was more the the prices and everything is just. I think it's just what they are these days. I think the bigger cons. I think it's pretty huge, and it was more the organisational side of things for me with some of the Showmasters things. So the DWAS managed to do a very smooth running day where they very sensibly had panel talks, then a break with photo shoots and autographs, and then back for panels, and it was good. But you also felt like you had room to sort of go off for a drink if you wanted to, a bit of lunch, still do things and everything. And there were some lovely people there as well. Matt and Harry, I'll get your views in just a second, but a friend of yours, Maria and Jordan, I believe, Joe, he was our companion, wasn't he? He was a honorary Big Blue Box team member, turned out for the weekend, and he's such a cool guy. So it was lovely to sort of hang out with him and get his opinion on Doctor Who and just have a laugh and stuff. So, and we met some other cool people as well. There was the names escaped me, so I'm very, very sorry, but there was a gentleman that came up while we were waiting for photos, and he was there with his son and said that they were listeners of the Big Blue Box and they enjoyed the podcast and to say hello. So it was great to meet you. I'm very sorry. I'm terrible with names. It's not I'm like that with everybody. So thank you very much. And there was a couple of other people as well that when we were sat down, they came over and said, "Oh, you're from the Big Blue Box. It's very cool." So from that perspective, it was great. The attendees were all chill and lovely, and everyone got on, and it was lovely. So yeah, very cool. So Harry and Matt, you were in the same boat as me. I believe this was all our first sort of DWAS event, I think. And so yeah, I'd like to hear about you guys.
I'll go first, shall I, Matt? Yeah. Yeah, it was a really good day, and I think it just felt like a great big group of friends. Not all of us knew each other, but it just felt like, we were all hanging out all day, and it felt really chill. And unlike the kind of conveyor belt feeling of like the Showmasters events, it just felt really comfortable. We were all lounging around in the theatre, like watching the watching the panels and stuff, and the panels were fantastic. Every single panel was absolutely brilliant. Some of them were hilarious, particularly the actors' names escape me, so maybe one of you guys could help me out here, but the Mavellan from Destiny of the Daleks and that guy from Terror of the Vervoids, those guys, I wasn't expecting their panel to be absolutely hilarious, but it was great. You got the names?
Much of which we can't actually repeat.
No, we can't.
Peter Straker and Simon Slater.
That's them. Yeah, they
were so funny.
It was a good one.
They were really good. Honestly, it would have been worth it just for that. It just so happened that there were a few autographs and photographs that I wanted to get, but I could have quite happily have just turned up, watched the panels, hung out with you guys, and had a really just perfect day out, to be honest. So it was lovely that DWAS put on a really good event, and unlike Hooverville, which I love and I'm going to go back this year, it was nice to kind of feel like I'd sort of done everything. So like I could see all the panels, and I could like have my photograph opportunity, go around the traders. They didn't have very many traders, but there were some cool little stands there, yeah, it was just a fab weekend, and particularly for me, it was my first time actually going to the Riverside studio, because we went to the bar the night before, and for some reason, I must have not been paying enough attention, but I didn't realise that it was actually the Riverside studio that they had filmed Doctor Who in the 60s, so I was like, that was really, really cool, and it was just great to hang out with you guys, really. That's the kind of biggest takeaway. It was nice to actually kind of meet up and just hang out and say things that we couldn't say on the podcast because there were lots of expletives, but it was great. It was a great weekend. Definitely one to remember.
No, that's Gary. That's just Gary with all the expletives.
Gary and his
I'm just impressed I managed to get us there. With my really bad directions. Yes, go this way. Go down the
I think
go
it was,
this way.
Yeah, no, it was lovely to see you all kind of in London town. So and it was good. I'm really glad we ended up at the Riverside Studios as well, because that's quite iconic. So I'm really glad that you managed to see that and kind of get a sense of the history of that place.
It was very cool. Riverside was amazing. Awesome. Yeah, very cool.
And it was a lovely night
Matt,
as well.
Sorry.
Like it was lovely weather. Like the sunshine was gorgeous. Like I don't want to be that one to resort to talking about the weather, but everything about it was just chef's kiss. Mwah! It was great.
Yeah,
it was good weather.
It was, yeah.
It was.
Matthew, what are your thoughts on meeting our miserable faces for the first time and all that?
You miserable lot. Yeah. I have to say, listeners, that they're just as miserable. They're one absolute lovely bunch of people. And like Harry was saying, like the Capital Cutaway was amazing. But the highlight of it, the absolute highlight, was meeting these lovely friends that I've made through this brilliant podcast. If I do say so myself, in the flesh, and just spending a few days with them, and just chatting about all things Doctor Who or not, and just really just having an amazing time, and lovelier people you cannot meet. And yeah, I came away. I had a 4-hour train journey home, and I was just beaming the entire way. It was just, it was just such a lovely experience. And yeah, you miserable lot weren't that bad either. But no, the Capital Cutaway, it was my first ever convention where it wasn't a local one to me, and I'm in Devon. You could probably tell by my accent that slips sometimes, or as Garry found out, quite a lot more when I've had a few to drink.
Yep.
Yeah. The old tractor comes out a bit more frequently, but this was my first proper convention that I'd been to, and it was so well organized, like down to the T. It didn't feel rushed. It didn't. Because I saw, just as a point of reference, I saw the. I think it was LFCC where Ncuti Gatwa was in attendance, and his queue was just, like exaggerating, but like a mile long, and people were just coming in, and it was like 2 seconds maximum, and it was like, hi, snap, bye, and then it was just straight in, straight out, and that's what I was thinking it was, going to be. That was just the norm, and it was just so much better. It was, you go in, you sit down, you say hi, and you have a little chat, and what was really lovely is because it was such a relaxed atmosphere the whole day. Even the guests, they'd hang around afterwards, and if you were pleasant, you could have a chit chat and just find out a little bit more, and just be around these awesome people. And like was previously mentioned, I got a shout out to Joe, who I'd never met before, Jordan and Maria's friend. Absolute top quality man. He was brilliant all weekend, wasn't he? And looking forward
One
to
of my
meeting him again.
people, so he won't mind me saying that.
He's just so funny and so nice. Such a nice guy.
Yeah, absolute legend. We'll have to see if Garry will bring him on one day, and we can do that. We can do that in person on here. But and also Adam Mamoon, who I've known online but never in person, and what a lovely chap he is. And we spent Riverside Studios an evening with him and Joe and all of us, and it was just the nicest time, honestly. I can't quite put it into words, although I've said quite a lot. But it was just such a lovely weekend, and yeah, can't wait for the next one.
Indeed, yeah. Thank you very much, Tall Ad, as we call him. Thank you very much, Joe, and you guys. You're Ad, what a lad, yeah. And you guys, you're all on top form. You're all absolutely wonderful to be with for the weekend, and just geek out on Doctor Who and other bits and bobs and have a drink. It was just so nice, and thank you very much to the...
Can I just say, I'm really impressed at how much you guys can drink. Can I just say that? I mean, blimey, I'm sitting there with my 1 Baileys with ice, and you guys just kind of keep going.
Yeah, years of practice. Yeah,
You've got hollow legs, guys.
The memories of me, Harry, and Garry waltzing down the streets of London doing Harry and Hagrid impressions will be with me for...
I don't remember that. What?
Yeah, that was funny.
I didn't think I had that.
Do you not
drink.
remember?
Wow. No. What? Oh wait.
Yeah, that was
funny.
funny.
I think it's coming back to me actually. Yeah, we were also singing "There's Always a Twist at the End." There's always a insert something at the end all weekend.
Yeah, if you were in the Hammersmith area, you didn't need to meet us. You could hear us. So it was fine.
Yeah, apologies to the residents of the Hammersmith area, but it was very cool. And a big thank you to the guys at the DWAS as well for putting on a very well organised and smooth and lovely day. So tickets are on sale now. A bit of a plug for those guys. Tickets are on sale now, I believe, for next year's 50th anniversary Capital event. So I think at the moment the consensus is that we'll all be going. I think that's what we're all aiming for, at least anyway, for us to get around there next year. So as we've done with this one for the Cutaway event, we'll plug it intermittently and try and get as many people there. I'm sure it will sell out. This one sold out, and I think most of their events do, so it should be rather good. So that was the weekend away, the Big Blue Box Jolly, as it were. Let's bring the conversation back to the here and now. So 2 episodes have landed for season 2 thus far. The Robot Revolution and Lux. Adam, my co-host, and myself on the regular podcast have already put our thoughts out, so I'm not going to dive in too much here. So I want to hand the floor over to you guys and see what you guys, not to go into too much detail for each episode individually, but what did you think of season 2 so far? Did you think the opening episode was worthy of a season opener? Did it kick off the series in the usual fashion that you would expect it to? Or was it a bit flatter than that? And are we already on an upward trend with episode 2? Did you guys enjoy it or did you not? I'll leave it up to you. So Jordan, over to you first. What's your feeling for season 2 so far?
I'm enjoying it. I think it's been fun. And I think that's what Doctor Who needs to be, is fun. I wouldn't say I thought Robot Revolution was like a big, massive way of bringing the series back. But then, New Earth is a bit rubbish. Smith, all the openers tend to be a little bit kind of singing, and they kind of get better. I thought it was fine. I thought it was fun. I can see people kicking off about Planet of the Incels and all this, that, and the other. But hey, that's a small little thingy on Twitter that they'll be the ones to kick off about it. And I know there are people on this podcast who did not enjoy it. But I really enjoyed Lux. I thought it was quite fun. I thought it was different. It was wacky. It was fun. I don't really know how else to describe it. I've had fun with the last 2 episodes. I think sometimes people are getting a little bit angry when they don't need to be. But that seems to be a very, very particular group of people online. But I think it's fine, and I like Belinda with the Doctor, and I really liked how at the end of Robot Revolution he's really trying to charm her into staying, and she's like, no, I want to go. And then when he realizes the charm isn't working, he switches. And there was a couple of times where he really glared at her and really kind of was like, you're really starting to irritate me now. And then there was a couple of times in Lux where he kind of snapped at her. He was sort of basically told her, oh, get over it, and this, that, and the other. And it was like, ooh, that's kind of like... It was kind of like a bit of a darker Doctor than I think. Most of the time he's funny and bubbly and kind of whatever, but he did feel that he has felt a little bit darker this series. And I mean, Russell Davies put it in Doctor Who magazine that Belinda's kind of modelled and styled after Tegan, in that she doesn't want to be there and then she'll gradually start to enjoy herself. And I can see that. And I'm not just saying that because Tegan's my favourite companion, but I can see that that's what they're doing, because they have that kind of friction where she'll tell him off and he'll tell her off. And I quite like that. I'm enjoying it. I think it's fine.
You're enjoying it? Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe next year it will have a break because I don't think they've filmed anything yet. But I don't think it's not being cancelled. I think that's just people really being horrible for the sake of being horrible about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's a topic we could talk about forever. But I just think it's a certain group of people on Twitter or X or whatever people want to call it that are just really angry about it for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, the stories aren't as good as they were, but you show me a TV show that's lasted 61 years that hasn't kind of had periods that aren't as good as other ones, and yeah,
that makes sense. Yep, yeah, I totally get that. there's definitely a subset of fans who are, wanting that to happen. Yeah.
Which is a shame, because it's all of our favourite shows. So why would you be like, oh, Doctor Who needs to be cancelled and all this, that, and the other, when it's your favourite? You know, why are you kind of wishing it away? I mean, the BBC don't care because you're watching it and they're getting viewing figures. So it's like, well, the BBC are like, whatever. But you know, it's.
Yeah, make a good point though. It's definitely like a little echo chamber of people that are doing that stuff, stirring the pot a little bit. No, Rachel. Okay, so a bit of a thumbs up from Jordan then.
Yeah.
So far, Harry, what are your feelings so far?
You know,
don't do that. The red herring.
You know,
back in my day when I watched Doctor Who, it was all peak viewing figures, and I liked it back then, and she liked it, didn't she? Her indoors, and we watched it together, and it was brilliant. Now
it's just not golden age anymore, Gary. It's just not golden age. No, I mean, you know what? Jordan summed it up perfectly about like not wanting to almost wish Doctor Who away, because I'll be completely honest, my overriding thoughts on season 2 so far is just, it feels tired. It feels like it's just kind of lumping along a little bit. That is, yeah, God honest truth, that's how I feel about it. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to hate this. Like, and also it's not bad, it's not terrible. Like it's there are lots of things that I liked about the first 2 episodes, which I'll get onto in a moment. But yeah, I mean, especially watching the Robot Revolution, I just kind of thought, oh, here we go, another season opener, another, you know, new companion, another season arc. I found myself like not really caring as much, and I feel like, yeah, I know that a lot of people have said it before, I've said it before, but rest it. I honestly feel like it needs to be rested for a while, and it needs to come back with different writers, and it needs to have some kind of spark again, some kind of fear factor again, because, you know, particularly episode 2, Mr. Ring-a-Ding, that cursed 3D animation that he turned into, they could have done a lot more with that, but they just didn't. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels tired, and I don't want to hate it. I don't hate it, but you're laughing.
Carry on, Harry. Carry on, Harry.
Okay. So what I liked about episodes 1 and 2. What?
Anyone that's listened to the weekly podcast that went out yesterday, you'll know why we're laughing when we say the name Mr. Ring-a-Ding. My co-host Adam dropped a bit of a weird one, calling him something slightly different, but also at the same time very different. So carry on, Harry. We're very sorry.
It's all right. Yeah. No, I really like Mr. Dingaling. I thought, you know, he really added something to it. Yeah, things that I liked. So I think Belinda's a really cool companion. I think that I just like the fact that she's a bit of a dick. Like she's kind of like, you know, doesn't how can I put this? Like she doesn't take the Doctor's crap, basically. You know, like him trying to charm her and like testing her DNA, and like she quite rightly said, oh, that's a bit uncomfortable kind of thing. And yeah, more of that. I think that's really cool and something really unique and interesting, especially because like him and Ruby, there was kind of no conflict in that relationship. So if we can have a bit more of that, that'd be really cool. And Vera de Sethu plays the part really well, I feel. And I loved the kind of swings that Lux took in terms of like the animated section. I mean, I wish it was a little bit longer, but well, obviously we had a lot of Mr. Dingaling being, you know, animated and stuff. He was really cool. It's nice that they have the budget to do that nowadays. And I also really liked the fan scene as well. I know a lot of people really didn't like that scene, but I thought it was cool. Apart from the absolutely cursed way that they organised their DVDs. Why did they have a John Pertwee box set, followed by William Hartnell, followed by a Peter Davison, and like they mixed and matched their vanilla releases with their series box sets? I was like, what kind of serial killer Doctor Who fan are you?
Fake fan.
Fake fans, yes, you could tell it was obviously just put together by a BBC props department. But yeah, no, I mean, they were fine. They were, both episodes, were fairly entertaining. I didn't hate them. They just feel kind of tired. But I'll enjoy what I can of the rest of this series.
I see. Okay, well that's not bad either.
Yeah,
seems to be mostly enjoying it. Good. That's good. Maria, the biggest modern Who fan of all of us. Maria, if this is your first round table, just a bit of a summary. Maria hates anything to do with Doctor Who pre-2005. So if you talk to Maria about classic Doctor Who, you're liable to get a swift one across the chops. So she's just modern Who through and through. So you must be loving this, Maria. What are your thoughts?
Oh, you're getting so much mileage out of this, Gary. I'm just gonna let you just carry on. Okay. I'm gonna. I do like modern Who. I do.
Loves it.
It's different to classic. I've always said that it's different. But yeah, I mean, the first two episodes, I kind of agree a little bit with Harry. I think there is a little bit of tiredness in the series. I think because Russell T Davies is writing a lot of the scripts himself, I think there's a lot of stretch in some of the stories. There's not enough, and I think it's maybe the episode length. I think with a lot of these stories, they need a bit more time to kind of develop. So I have to be honest. When I was watching the robot Revolution, I was just glad that it wasn't like Space Babies, because I really didn't like Space Babies last series. So I think there was a relief that it wasn't that. It was actually a lot better than that. I think I feel quite mixed about the series. There's bits that I really like, and I think, and then there's other bits that I don't. I still think there's a bit of ego and a bit of RTD still kind of putting his issues into the stories where I don't think they need to be. I mean, last week's the robot revolution, we had the young guy that was meant to be an incel. Is that what they call them? Mm-hmm. So and to be honest, that wasn't really developed well enough for me in terms of whether he was or whether he wasn't. I just find some of the writing sometimes is a bit brash and a bit abrupt in terms of the themes that he wants to put in. I mean, like this week, Belinda said something about Rock Hudson. Who Rock Hudson had a fantastic film and television career. He was a idol of cinema. As the Doctor says, he was a beautiful man. And, the only thing that kind of Belinda was talking about was obviously how he died and, and that kind of stuff. And I really don't like that, because I think, you should kind of appreciate people for the things that they do when they're alive, not how they died. So I didn't really like that. But there are some good things in the stories. I mean, some of the visuals look fantastic. I mean, I think Series 2 is where they've probably spent the majority of the money so far. I mean, the robot revolution looked very glossy. I mean, in some respects, I did think to myself, and this is something I said to someone else, it does look very Disney, the first two episodes. And although there's bits that I'm enjoying in the stories, I find myself a bit distanced from it because it does look so glossy and it is kind of a little bit Disney. I don't know how to describe it, but I do feel a bit of distance from it as a fan. I do prefer stories a little bit more gritty, I suppose, and it does feel a bit gloss over substance a little bit. In regard to the characterization, last week, Shooty's interpretation annoyed me a little bit because he was doing, there was one bit he did a high kick at one point, which was a bit and it was all like, "Ya Queen" and all this kind of stuff. And, that really annoyed me because he felt a bit campy last week. He seemed to settle down this week. He had a more serious kind of story. And I actually enjoyed those quieter moments, when he was in the diner and he was talking with the mother who had lost her son, or her son had disappeared. When he's quieter, he seems to, I don't know whether he's just got a better handle of the character this series, but I actually preferred it when he was a little bit quieter and he had more serious content, and and he was a bit more of the Doctor, I found, in this week's story in Lux. I enjoyed parts of the story. I thought he was good in it. Last week he was a bit too campy, and I don't know, there's this swing of the writing so much in the series. It really depends on the writing. Things I didn't like. They killed the cat last week, which I kind of thought, did they really do that? And they did.
Mm-hmm.
They killed a cat, and then
Cancel
this
the show.
week. So I will say about Lux, I really enjoyed Lux this week. I enjoyed it up to about the 30-minute mark, and then obviously you had the bit with the Doctor Who fans, which I think kind of just broke that spell, because we were obviously in 1952 America, and it kind of broke the spell of that, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the dialogue. I thought it was a bit, I didn't see the point of having them in there. You've got this fantastic episode, which I must say, the visuals and the animation was absolutely top notch. I would say it was fantastic for the episode, and I think I would have really loved to have seen this story as a two-parter, because I think it kind of deserved it. If you're going to go all out and have animation, and you've got animators who did, who have done films like, who is it? What's the name of that film with Bob Hoskins?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
That's the one. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to remember it, but apparently they had the animator that did for this story, that did that story, and you can see the love and care that they kind of had in that animation. Some of that animation was fantastic. I would have loved to have seen more time spent on that story in 1952, but they spent 4.5 minutes on a segment with Doctor Who fans, and I did feel like RTD was having a dig at us fans. I've always been a classic Who fan, and I don't like that kind of meta referencing that they do, when the show kind of refers to itself. I don't think it needs to do that. I don't think it needs it. It needs to have really good stories that, take an audience with you. And I think, it's, we're fans, and we're obviously watching the episode, but, for the casual viewer, what sense does having that in there make, really?
Mm-hmm.
You need a seamless story that follows through, and it had such a good build up this week on that story. It was creepy. You had is it Linus Roach in as the projectionist? There was some fantastic direction in the story. The close-ups of the projector, the projectionist, the film reels. Who, when they saw that room with all the film reels, my mind went automatically to classic Who. So there's a lot of kind of really nice kind of visuals in it. But it's been good so far. I mean, I'm hoping that it's going to get better. Next week's looks quite creepy. So I've got hopes for this series. Especially because there's new writers coming in. That we'll see something different. Because I think RTD. He doesn't need to be writing all the scripts himself. I mean, he's stretching some of those ideas. And they need a lot more development. I think you need either a longer episode time, or you need to kind of make it not kind of stretch the stories out so much, because there's some good ideas, but I think some of the characterization needs developing. I mean, last week a lot of the supporting characters were pretty one note, really.
Yeah. No, I read you. It's often one of those things where, especially when you're only a couple of episodes in, and you think, right, okay, even if you weren't fully on board with them, you're like, we've got the rest of the series to go. So you've probably, we've got 6 episodes left. That sounds like hardly anything at all. Like, I've been rewatching some US based TV shows over the last, I don't know, year or so. And like, you're 8 episodes in and you're just getting warmed up, It's like when you get to episode 19, you're like, oh God. And you've still got 3 or 4 episodes to go after that, and you think, bloody hell. So yeah, it feels really like a fleeting moment, doesn't it? These shorter 8 episode series. I don't know. It's just gone in a blink. Excuse the pun.
I don't know if it's a bit of a curse.
Maria, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you not hear me? Okay.
Technical glitch.
Now?
You put it another way. We are
Technical
a
glitch.
quarter way through the series already.
We're a quarter of the way. Yes, exactly.
Which is so depressing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In one way, it does have its advantages, because you're hopefully removing any opportunity for those sort of ploddy episodes and the padded ones that you sometimes get, that we have had definitely in seasons past. But if they don't all land and they don't all hit the mark, then I don't know. But so, yeah, Maria, are you back with us, or have you still got...
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Yay! I was going to say, I don't know whether it would have been better if they'd maybe had... So there's either 2 ways of doing this. They could have had either 4 stories that were 2-parters. So, self-contained 4 stories with 2 episodes, or maybe had one continuous story all the way through that is really tightly scripted, a bit like Flux. If you're going to have 8 episodes, maybe it's better to do a series like Flux and have one overarching theme. I mean, saying that, I don't know how I feel about all these gods appearing again. I mean, obviously... Lux was a weird one, because he came in through moonlight, and then apparently he could be dissipated by too much light, which I didn't quite get. I don't think that really kind of landed for me in terms of a resolution. I mean, it sounded quite nice, and I don't know. I've kind of listened to a couple of other podcasts, and they were talking about religious allegory, because the Doctor was kind of suspended by film reels in the kind of like almost like a crucifix position, and obviously light of God and all of that. So I don't know if there was anything religious in the writing, but yeah, as a resolution, I wasn't too keen on it. I think it could have been done maybe slightly differently, but all this fourth wall breaking is still a bit annoying. I mean, Mrs. Flood is still there in the background, and kind of it's all like portents of doom for the 24th of May. So I'm kind of wondering, is she meant to be the big bad or something? You know, is she coming back in the finale, and is she going to be the big bad? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this gods thing. I mean, they obviously brought back a reference to the toy maker, so hopefully Russell's going to wrap that up this series.
Okay.
I don't know.
I see. So lots of unanswered questions for Maria. She wants answers, and Russell's not providing. We shall see how. So, just quickly, guys, is there anything that you particularly want to see in the remaining episodes of this season? Is there anything that you're like, right, I think we absolutely have to have this thing, or I really want to see this thing? Is there any character that you want to see come back, regardless of if it's Mrs. Flood coming back as an old character, or just a character in general that you want to see come back? Because we do have that typically, don't we, in series of Doctor Who, where they inevitably have a cameo from somebody, or it could just be a moment or two. Just a quick round the table. Harry, is there anything that you particularly want to see?
Susan, bring back Susan. I feel like they were setting that up in the first season, so yeah, I think we should have a cameo from Susan. That'd be cool.
Agreed on that one, bud, for sure. Matthew, anything you want to see? I know what you want to see. You want to see a Dalek put together with... Yeah. How is the Dalek coming on?
It's looking very well. Very well. He's... I'll just show you.
Listener, we've got a demo. Oh, we've got the top part. Okay. Eye stalk. Very good.
Yep.
Impressive.
He's looking pretty... He's getting pretty heavy now as well, just for a head. And I'm so far behind. I'm only on like episode number 7 or something, and I've got up until like 15 here, so I need to crack on really. But no, I know there's not much time left, but I will just say quickly what I thought of the series so far.
Hold on, have we not done yours yet? We're not done your...
Not yet, but I'll just be quick.
Oh no, sorry, dude. Away you go.
No,
sorry.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say, hate the lot.
It's the lot.
Nice and simple, short and sweet.
His review. He hates the lot.
No,
you don't.
Of course I don't. No. I came into this series with not great expectations, and I don't know about anybody else, but not the same feeling that you normally get with a new season of Who. Like the whole, I don't know, you almost you get like bit fizzy when it's coming up. You know Doctor Who's on the way, and it's all a bit exciting. Didn't really get that this time. I was like, well, yeah, new season of Doctor Who, that'd be cool. Hopefully it's better than last time. Not to say last season was particularly bad. It just there was a few not so great episodes. But anyway, pleasantly surprised, absolutely pleasantly surprised, and because I think I came in with such low expectations, I was so happy to see. It's not the best series opener, but RTD's openings never are. Let's be honest. He's famous for not having the best openers, and then just getting better and better with the episodes as they go on. You look at like you say, Smith and Jones, and even like. Rose or the Partners in Crime one, they're okay, but there's so much better that's come from him further down the line. So it's not particularly the most standout episode, Robot Revolution. I must say, I didn't really... Everyone's loving Belinda, and I didn't really warm to her the first episode that much. I thought, "Go, you're a bit annoying." And then I rewatched it, and I thought, actually... It's much different from Ruby, and where she challenges him, and because of the age difference between Ruby and Belinda, I think it's actually such a refreshing take, because we don't normally have it. Although saying that, this episode it kind of throws that out the window. You've got her going, being really kind of take no prisoners, I'm not falling for your tricks, sort of thing. And then by the end of it, she's kissing his hand and saying, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have not trusted you, and I trust you now, and blah blah blah. I think maybe that could have lasted an episode or two longer, but then again, with the shorter episodes, I suppose they got to speed through a few things, and that just so happened to be one of the things that they had to wrap up quickly. Speaking of the episode lengths, you can tell all the way through these two episodes that both of them needed to be longer. 43 minutes is just not enough for, especially with the bigger budgets, and you can see that there's more story to tell on each episode. It feels crammed, and a lot of things don't have time to breathe or to be explained fully. So when, say, Lux in this one, the second episode, he was, becoming like more monsterfied and becoming a person, and he looked amazing when he was becoming this sort of like horrific creature. But then it was all over and done. And that ending would have been fine had you had the sort of big showdown right before that. But it was kind of ready for a big showdown. Oh, he's gone. Which kind of, that was the only downer that I would have for that episode, because I thought Lux was absolutely amazing. I'd probably say it was my favourite shooty episode so far. Apart from the ending, I loved every minute of it. It was just I loved the feel from the 1950s. I loved the big Chuck Berry fan. So when Roll Over Beethoven started playing, I thought, this is an episode I'm going to love. And I did. And I thought everything was handled really nicely. Like, obviously you've got the Doctor and Belinda, two people of colour in the 1950s. You need to address it somehow. Are you going to shoehorn it in, like, really bluntly, like maybe sometimes it might have happened previously on other things, not trying to slate anything, but it was done really, really nicely, really sincerely but carefully done, and I thought Lux was amazing. What a character! What a different side of Doctor Who that we just haven't done before. It was absolutely brilliant. I couldn't fault it, and just the ending, and I the controversial part with the coming into the Who fans, I loved it. I thought it's a bit like when you're, I know on the Across the Pond there's quite a big thing about getting roasted. And they do like these things where you say, they have a roast where basically you get mocked and it's all one big laugh. And I kind of saw it a bit like that. There's a bit of tongue in cheek about it all, but at the same time, I can take the fact that we are Doctor Who fans. Sometimes we can be a bit eccentric, and we're very enthusiastic people about the thing we love. And I think it was done nicely, to be honest. There was a few things like R.I.P. Doctor Who and that sort of thing, and you just think like Russell's having a dig, but it still worked for me. But I will wrap up because I am just full of words. But yeah, one thing I'd love to see: Daleks. I knew you'd said it, and I thought, guys, he's got it. But no, I'd actually love to see Daleks, because it does feel like, I know it's a new era, but it just feels like we've gone sort of Series 11, where it was no new villains, no old villains sort of thing, and it kind of lacked something. Mm-hmm. Bring the new villains in, by all means, for like 7 out of the 8 episodes, but give us that one. It's still Doctor Who. It's still, here's the Cybermen, here's the Daleks. Don't overuse them so much, so we get so sick and tired, like Time Lord Victorious. But a Dalek story now would be perfect, especially something as dark as, say, like Robert Sherman's Dalek, or some of the Big Finish Dalek stories. They really take it. The 11th Doctor adventures with Jacob Dudman. They took the Daleks and made them scary again. I'd love to see that actually televised. So yeah, Daleks for me. Anyway, I'll stop talking now.
No, cool. Very cool. So you're enjoying this season quite a lot, which is cool.
Yeah.
Jordan, is there anything that you would like to see new or return or just something cool?
I agree with Matt. I'd like to see the Daleks. And I think it would be such a shame if every other Doctor has got to meet the Daleks, but Ncuti doesn't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that would be a shame.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. So Harry, Susan, Matt, the Daleks, Jordan, the Daleks. Before I go to Maria, just quickly, Harry, you and I, when we were at Capital Cutaway, we were sat together watching somebody, and I said to you beforehand that they're going to let slip because they always do. Was it Anita Dobson or was it somebody else?
It was Anita Dobson. Yes.
It was Anita, wasn't it? And she made a very quick passing comment about the Daleks. And I looked at you and I was like, there you go. That's the thing that she's let slip because she does it all the time.
Yeah,
they're not like huge.
A bit red.
And the interviewer was like, so does that confirm the Daleks are back? And she's like, I'm not saying anything. Like, it kind of like she sort of like let something slip that she shouldn't have. So we'll see.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys could get your wish, but I agree. I think Ncuti should go up against the Daleks before he's unceremoniously tossed out of the studio into the street. And see you later, Maria. Very quickly, over to you for the last thing. Anything that you want to see in the remaining 6 episodes?
Oh gosh, a satisfying resolution. I don't know. It's really hard because we don't know. We don't know how the series is going to end. I mean, obviously, there's lots of rumours around. What might be happening at the end of the series. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what these scripts are by the other writers. So I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, cool. Do you know what? I'm up for that as well. Seeing what other people bring to the table, because we've had throughout season 1 and these 2, we've had a lot of Russell scripts. And he's not really hit the mark in all of them like he did before. So let's see. Anyway, so all in all, I think we're quite enjoying season 2 so far. Fingers crossed. Let's hope that continues throughout the rest of the season and we get some Daleks and we get Susan back. And for Maria's sanity, we get a decent script soon and a decent resolution, etc. And on that note, fam, let's end it there for the April Roundtable. Thank you so much for listening to another month of the Roundtable goodness. Insert adjective there. Nonsense, waffle, insights, whatever you want. It's always fun doing a Roundtable with these guys. I love it. I love hearing your thoughts and your points of view on everything. So thank you very much, guys, for taking the time out to do this. As always, make sure you are following or subscribing in your podcast app of choice, so that way you don't miss a notification when these Roundtable episodes drop into your app, and you can give that a good old listen. You can also listen on the website, bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk, and you can check out the reviews and articles from this lot while you are there. There are also links to go off to the social stuff and a link to our free Discord server. So hop in there and chat Doctor Who with some other cool Doctor Who fans. There's always a discussion, a debate, a bit of merch from Matt, all that stuff going on in there. So go and check all that stuff out. Once Maria's sorted herself out, we will do the outro. I think she just knocked herself out. Right, we will be back We'll be back
Okay.
next month for the May Roundtable. Until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Maria.
My name is Matt.
I'm Jordan.
My name's Harry.
And and remember. Okay, hold on. Right.